Hello, everyone. Our group presentation is on the Zika virus. My name is Taylor, and I'll be going over the etiology and the reservoir of the Zika virus. The Zika virus is known as Flaviviridae flavivorus. The virus is gram-positive and takes on a coccus shape. The virus has no apparent flagella, so it is not motile. The virus has RNA genome with a ring of C proteins followed by M proteins and E dimer on the outside. Now the reservoir is where the virus originates, and the Zika virus is stored in mosquitoes. The virus is transmitted with a bite and then can be transmitted to other people through many different ways, which will be discussed later in the presentation.
Hi, my name is Eleanor Clay, and I will be going over the transmission, signs, and symptoms of the Zika virus. The Zika virus can be transmitted in 3 different ways: vector transmission, vertical transmission, and horizontal transmission. In vector transmission, Zika is transmitted through mosquitoes that act as a mechanical vector, usually in tropical or subtropical parts of the world. The mosquito that carries this disease is an infected Aedes genus mosquito, specifically the Aegypti species and the Albopictus species. These mosquitoes like to live near water, indoors or outdoors, and they love to live near people. They become infected when they bite a person who is infected. They then can infect other people or mammals after an incubation period of about 10 days. In vertical transmission, a pregnant woman can pass the Zika virus to her fetus during pregnancy. Zika can cause microcephaly, which is a birth defect that will be explained later in the presentation. Mothers can also transmit the virus to their babies through breast milk. Mosquitoes can also transmit the virus to their offspring. In horizontal transmission, Zika can be sexually transmitted. This can happen even if the infected person has no symptoms or if their symptoms have already ended. It can also be transmitted through blood transfusions. Many people that are infected with Zika virus won't have symptoms or will have very mild symptoms. For those people who do have symptoms, the most common are headache, joint pain, muscle pain, and a general feeling of discomfort. Other symptoms may include abdominal pain and dizziness. These symptoms usually last several days to a week. People with Zika virus don't usually go to the hospital and rarely die from it. The signs that a person may be infected with Zika virus are fever, rash, diarrhea, and conjunctivitis, which means red eyes. Zika may be associated with Guillain-Barré syndrome, which is an illness where a person's immune system attacks their nerve cells. The CDC is continuing to investigate this correlation further.
Hi, my name is Lauren Bennett, and I am going to be sharing about the prevention and treatment as well as the history of Zika. There is currently no vaccine for Zika. There was a large push for a Zika vaccine in 2016. However, it was due to a large outbreak. However, to date, there's still no vaccine, and there's actually no specific treatment for the Zika virus as well. So you might be asking, what do you do? Well, websites like the CDC suggest rest, treat your symptoms, and take Tylenol to help lower your fever and help with the muscle aches. But one thing to remember with Zika is that the symptoms aren't necessarily very severe. And so for a lot of people, there's really no need for a specific treatment. When avoiding the spread of any disease, it's important to look not only at the how, but also at the why. Zika virus is so dangerous not necessarily because of the damage done to the infected person, but rather because of the effects that it can have on the fetus of a pregnant woman. Zika has been linked to microcephaly, a defect causing a smaller head and therefore quite possibly a smaller brain, as well as and has been linked as well to other severe fetal brain defects. So it's particularly important that pregnant women avoid travel to areas with Zika virus. It's also important to realize that Zika can be passed through sex and even blood transfusions, and that pregnant mothers should be aware of these other possible modes of transmission to avoid them when possible during their pregnancies. As you can see here on this map, these are countries here in purple that have been infected or have reported cases of the Zika virus, and therefore are areas that should be avoided by expecting mothers. In 2016, there were actually over 200 cases caused by local mosquitoes in the US, with the majority of them being in Florida. However, there were also some in Texas as well. But the 200 cases were just by locally based mosquitoes. They weren't cases that were contracted on foreign soil. And a fun fact, in 2016, there were 5 cases of Zika contracted by sexual transmission. So it definitely is possible. But in 2017, there was a large decline in the number of cases. There were only 4 cases in the United States believed to be caused by local mosquitoes. 2 were in Florida and 2 were in Texas. As for the history of Zika, the Zika virus was discovered in 1947 in the Zika forest of Uganda. The first human case was reported in 1952, and the disease hit the Americas in 2015 when Brazil began to report cases. And in 2016, the virus was brought to the world stage when Rio hosted the Summer Olympics. In fact, a committee was established to help prevent the spread of Zika. Interestingly enough, the 2016 Zika outbreak actually contributed to the change in Sister Missionary dress code. The change, made in May of 2016, now allows Sister Missionaries to wear slacks and long dresses in areas affected by Zika and a few other diseases. And here are some of our references.